James, do you almost look at it as you're almost the poster person for this season? I mean, the nuances and changes that the team had to go through and all the positions you had to play and the adjustments you had to make?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities there for sure. Um, yeah, many moving parts, a lot of similarities to a lot of things that I've done in my career, moving around, kind of changing on the fly. So hopefully, I was able to help here and there with certain guys and maybe questions people had, or just getting people up to speed, coming in spots, late in the week, or playing different positions due to injury, things like that. So hopefully, I was able to help and impart some wisdom, where it was needed or where it was asked for, and to help our team in certain ways.
Have you had a season where you were asked or needed to fill in so many spots in so many ways?
Definitely not. This was unique in that way for certain. Just moving around week to week, switching positions, several different times. That was a tough thing to do. But happy to do it. Happy to go in and play. Wherever they ask. It's always a good challenge for sure to make sure you're on top of the playbook and techniques and assignments and things like that. So yeah, it was a really unique opportunity, but I'm very, very grateful for it. Very grateful for the opportunity that I'm trusted enough to go in and help the team win.
I guess when you're in the middle of it, you're not really thinking about it, or you're just kind of pushing through each day. But how, now that you reflect on it, how taxing is it, I guess, mentally to not just the positions, but everything else that went along with the season, whether it be the evacuation or whether it be, the team struck by the virus, in several instances.
Yeah, I think there was obviously a lot of different things that happened, like you just said, throughout the season. But I think one thing, one positive, to come out of all of that is it allowed, kind of each week to be its own thing. A new picture, maybe a new lineup, a different game plan here and there. I think it allowed for, I don't know, kind of a sense of urgency to stay tuned in, locked in. I think, you go a whole season sometimes. It can become very monotonous, the routine, same guys playing, opponents. It's easy to kind of fall into the trap of, well, hey, it's just, another day at work. And this year, there was no way that you could operate under that pretense. There was a lot of moving parts, a lot of things changing each and every week. And I think that really captured everyone's attention every single week and just allowed people to tune in and lock in and focus on, all right, here's the challenge this week, here's what's going on, here's the position that I'm playing, and here's what my role is in this game plan this week. So I think, there are definitely positives from a lot of things that happened to us, and I think that'll definitely help us out in the future.
How difficult was it to establish any continuity, and I guess especially for the offensive line, a unit that seems maybe counts on continuity more than any other unit?
It was very difficult. It was a big challenge for sure. Yeah, like you said, the offensive line requires a lot of communication, continuity, gelling. Kind of the more the better. So the more consistency you can have with the guys lining up, you can become more comfortable with communication and how guys fit into certain blocks and things like that. So that was a huge challenge for our group. But I think at the end of the day, it probably helped some of the younger guys especially to understand the importance of communication and the urgency in which you have to communicate. The communication can't start on Sunday. It's got to be throughout the week. You got to be watching film. You got to be asking each other questions. Hey, how do you see this? How do you see us handling this pressure or this front or this certain type of block? And I think that lesson is going to stick around with a lot of people in the offensive line room, probably for their whole career. And I think that's just going to help us out later down the road.
Like Triplett?
And James, you talking about what could carry over and help you guys from going through this experience next year. How does that work in your experience? What can carry over from season to season? I know a lot of times it's completely new and different and starting fresh, but what are sort of important things that can carry over?
I think one important thing will be just the mindset of, if you're not the starter, let's say coming out of training camp, you have to be ready, and not just ready to play a game, but you might be called on to play and start 14, 15, 16 games throughout the season. So I think just having that urgency of game planning week to week and understanding that, hey, I might not be playing this week, I might not be even up active on the roster this week, but next week, that could very well change. It's one play away for every single guy. That's the type of sport it is. So I think that lesson will stick. I think the lesson about communication and how important that is, and how important establishing how to communicate with teammates and understanding and learning each guy individually as well. I think those things are going to stick with players for a long time.